I thought I was being funny. Everyone laughed. Even my dad laughed. But when he leaned in and said, "I'll get you back," I didn't realize he meant in public, with witnesses, and zero mercy. If you've ever joked a little too far and paid for it later, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and comment below if you think my dad went too far or not far enough. Because this revenge was petty, surgical, and unforgettable. It was my dad's birthday, big family gathering, friends, relatives, people who've known me since I was a kid. The kind of crowd where everyone expects a heartfelt speech and maybe one safe joke. I stood up with my glass, already nervous. My dad and I have that relationship where roasting each other is basically our love language. So when I started talking about how amazing he was, hardworking, patient, always there, people nodded along. Then I made a mistake. I told the story. Years ago, my dad had the talk with my younger brother. I had been eavesdropping from the hallway, pretending not to exist. I remembered one line crystal clear. My dad, dead serious, had told my brother that his existence was proof that sex could be expensive and that condoms were cheap. It was comedy gold. I repeated it word for word. The room exploded in laughter. People slapped tables. Someone actually snorted. Even my dad laughed, shaking his head like, "Wow, you really went there." I wrapped it up quickly, added wholesome stuff about how much I loved him, raised my glass, and sat down feeling proud. Nailed it. After the party, my dad pulled me aside. He hugged me, thanked me for the speech, then smiled. Not a warm smile. The kind that means you've been noticed. He said, "I'll get you back for that." I laughed, called it an empty threat, told him, "Sure thing, old man." That was my second mistake. A few days later, I was driving him around, running errands. Nothing unusual. We stopped at a gas station. The tank was already full, but my dad wanted snacks. Candy, chocolate, the usual sweet tooth situation. I told him I'd wait in the car. He looked at me like I'd suggested robbing the place. So I sighed, put my phone away, and followed him inside. The place smelled like burnt coffee and cleaning chemicals. We grabbed snacks and walked up to the cashier. That's when my dad cleared his throat and calmly said, "Oh, and add a box of condoms." I froze. I laughed nervously, waiting for the punchline. None came. Then my dad, loud enough for the cashier and the two people behind us to hear, said, "They're for my son," and pointed at me. I felt heat rush to my face. My ears burned. My soul briefly left my body. I whispered, "Dad, what the hell?" The cashier gestured toward the shelf behind her and asked which brand he wanted. I tried to save myself. I said, "He's joking." My dad cut me off immediately. I never joke about safe sex. For reasons that still haunt me, he decided to escalate. He pulled out his phone and showed the cashier a picture of me and my girlfriend. Then he started explaining, loudly, that I was young and inexperienced, and as a responsible parent, he wanted to make sure a fleeting moment of fun didn't turn into a lifelong responsibility. I don't even know what else he said. I talked over him. I said I'd wait in the car. I practically teleported outside. I sat there staring straight ahead, replaying every life decision that led me to this moment. Then the door opened. My dad walked out holding multiple boxes of condoms. Not in a bag. The snacks were in a bag. The condoms were displayed proudly. People stared. I had to open the car door because his hands were full. He sat down, buckled in, and said casually, "I didn't know which brand you preferred, so I got all of them." I couldn't even be mad. I just laughed. Because at that moment, I realized something important. This wasn't cruelty. This was art. Perfectly timed, public, harmless, directly proportional to my crime. I made people laugh at his expense. He made people stare at mine. We drove off like nothing happened. No yelling, no follow-up, just silence and the rustling of condom boxes. I learned a lesson that day. If you roast someone who raised you, make sure they have a better sense of timing. Later that night, my dad texted me one line, "Now we're even." And you know what? He was right. No yelling, no anger, just mutual respect restored through mutual embarrassment. I never brought up the speech again, and he never mentioned the condoms. But every time we pass that gas station, he smiles. Revenge doesn't always have to be loud or cruel. Sometimes the most effective payback is playful, precise, and perfectly deserved. And sometimes your dad is way better at it than you. If this story made you laugh, hit like. Subscribe for more Reddit revenge stories that are smart, satisfying, and unforgettable. And tell me in the comments, did my dad go too far, or was this flawless revenge?